Live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Good afternoon, hello, welcome to the State History, aka TDH. That is not the script, here it is. I'm, of course, Xander, UVRU, and we will be joined by the Colin Loon here shortly. Today is, of course, Moon's Day, aka Monday, April 20th, 2026. Happy 420! I'm wearing my Pastafarian hat here. This show is about interesting and important events that occurred today throughout the annals of recorded history. Starting with, well, later today I'm going to celebrate my own way, and I'll show that later. Starting with here, 295, 8th record perihelion passage of Halley's Comet. Perihelion, of course, being the closest the comet is to our star, being the sun, or also known as Sol. But I'm wondering, how often does it swing by Halley's Comet? You know the answer, right, Loon?
80 years or something?
Something like that, yeah. And when was the first recorded? Which I think we covered the first recorded.
The other day, yeah.
Yeah, like a week or so ago or something?
A few days ago.
I'm not sure. So, 1152, after an 8-year conflict, Baldwin III of Jerusalem won sole control of the Kingdom of Jerusalem from his mother, Melsimede. And Baldwin III, of course, is very known for defeating Saladin and keeping Jerusalem until eventually Saladin got Jerusalem after what's his face? I just said his name. Baldwin III died. He had leprosy. He was known as the leper.
Oh.
Yeah, he was known as the leper king. He actually defeated Baldwin defeated Saladin. Like I think it was 21, 22 or something. He was young and everything, and he lived to be like 34 somewhere in there. But yeah, he died of leprosy. What else we got here? 1290 Round Table Tournament held near Winchester, England, in imitation of King Arthur to commemorate betrothal of daughter to Edward the First, and attended by the king. Of course, king has to have, he set up the whole thing as a tournament.
Yeah.
He's not there. What's the point? 1303, the Sapienza University of Rome was instituted by a bull of Pope Boniface VIII. A papal bull, of course, as I say, being a holy memo of sorts. We will be talking about a couple other papal bulls later on in the show. 1303 as well, the Bahari Mamluks defeated the Incarnate in the Battle of Marj al-Safar, marking the end of the Mongol incursions into Syria. So, they stopped the Mongols. Nice.
So that's the downfall of the Mongols, or the beginning, maybe?
I'm not sure. At least in Syria, that was the end of them. Or the beginning of the end. 1453, 4 Christian ships broke the siege of Constantinople. I actually have a picture of this right here. I'll just figure this in a minute. And entered the Golden Horn, lifting the monocle of the defenders and embarrassing Sultan Mehmed II. So, and here's, look at it. This is such a detailed drawing.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is AI. I hope not, although it's starting to look, it's way too good. This has to be, although if this is a very good AI image, because there's a lot of detail.
Painting.
Yeah, I hope it is a painting. It looks really good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're right behind this cannon. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What else do we got here? 1505, Jews were expelled from Orange, Burgundy by Philbert of Luxembourg. Why I'm trying to say Philbert the what? The first, I guess. He's the only one. Also, 1534, French explorer Jacques Cartier set sail with 2 ships from St. Malo for Newfoundland, tasked by Francis I to look for gold and riches. So he had one less ship than Christopher Columbus. I mean, usually on something like that, you'd send more, ships. So, or maybe you don't. I'm not sure.
Depends on how much money you had to get a project off the ground.
True. 1535, Stockholm experienced the atmospheric optical phenomenon called a sundog or parhelion over the city, prompting omens against King Gustav Vasa. It's telling me to image search this. This is what I got here for the thumbnail at least. And look, could you imagine seeing something like that, like just over, up in the sky? And there is actual photos of these, so this is not a phantasm. Like that's something like that.
Yeah.
Like somehow this is called a sundog. So
darn.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, neither have I really. I think I have. I'm not sure, but yeah. And this is a zoomed in, I believe. No, I guess that's the same size, but it shows multiple. So maybe there is some ancient alien sky battle or something. 1610, only recorded performance of William Shakespeare's tragedy Macbeth during the playwright's lifetime at the Globe Theatre by astrologer Simon Foreman. Now we have a discrepancy. It says here in 1611 Now, this might have been my discrepancy because I could have screwed this up. But from the primary source, it says 1611 here, and the other source also says 1611. So maybe either I screwed up, although 1 is on the opposite side is 0. So I'm not sure how or possibly somebody else screwed it up. So, or I could have been using the number pad, and 1 is next to 0 over here. So, but yeah, what the article I just read, the only documented performance of William Shakespeare's tragedy Macbeth, was in 1911. 1611, not 1911. 1611. 1650, Dutch East India Company, VOC, management set new guidelines. Do you remember VOC?
Yeah.
1653, Oliver Cromwell and 40 musketeers forcibly dissolved the English rump parliament after it failed to establish a caretaker government. In Cromwell's words, quote, "You have sat too long for any good you have been doing lately. In the name of God, go!" End quote. So that's one hell of a quote there. That maybe we should say that to our government when we take this country back, we the people, in order to create a more perfect union. In 1657, freedom of religion was granted to the Jews of New Amsterdam, later known as New York City. 1689, the former King James II of England, now deposed, laid siege to Derry. So that's in Ireland, I believe, correct?
I don't know.
I think Derry's in Ireland. 1702, Comet C1702H1 approached within 0.0437 AU's astronomical units of Earth. 1715, Nicholas Rose play The Tragedy of Lady Jane Grey premiered in London. Jane Grey, isn't that like the X-Men? Jean Grey, something Grey? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
So, 1736, French mathematician Pierre-Louis Maupertuis began Lapland expedition to measure latitude and shape of the Earth, joined by fellow scientists Andreas Celsius, Charles Estienne, Louis Camus, Alexius Slariat, and Pierre-Charles Le Monnier. That first name must ring a bell. Andreas Celsius? Celsius?
Oh, Celsius as far as the heat.
Yeah, I think
okay.
that's the scientist that
okay.
that got that. Because Fahrenheit, of course, was from Professor Fahrenheit or whatever.
Yeah.
And, Dr. James Watt for the Watt electrical. So I think volt though is a made-up word. Like it wasn't named after somebody. Or maybe it was. I'm not sure. 1770, Captain James Cook arrived in New South Wales. We covered him yesterday.
Hawaii,
Discovering
right?
No. Well, he died in Hawaii,
right.
But he discovered Australia.
Yeah.
Or Terra Australis. 1777, New York adopted a new constitution as an independent state. So like we've spoken about this before. Like they were original colonies, and during the Revolution, they weren't sure exactly what was going to happen afterward. They just had to get the British boot off of their throat.
Yeah, they wanted to get them out.
Yeah.
And then they had to form what the colonies were going to do.
Yeah.
Go back to being by their own, or what?
Yeah, because there was a quote in the movie The Patriot. I'm not sure if it was actually a historical quote, although I think it might have been actually said during one of these debates that they had. Why should I trade one tyrant 3,000 miles away for 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away? Very, very true. 1789, George Washington arrived at Gray's Ferry in Philadelphia while en route to Manhattan for his inauguration. Okay.
Oh, okay.
1792, amidst the French Revolution, France declared war on Austria and Prussia, beginning the French Revolutionary Wars. So.
French declared war. Wow.
Yeah, while they were having an active revolution in themselves, a civil war essentially. Yeah, they.
That was probably a lot of times they will do something like that to bring the country back together.
Maybe.
Fight the outside.
True. And also, it could be a preemptive measure, to put people on edge because, especially back in those times, if your neighboring country sees that you're having a civil war, well, look at that, free real estate. They'll just come right in.
Come in and take over?
Yeah. It says, another source, France declared war against the King of Hungary and Bohemia at the beginning of the French Revolutionary Wars, amidst the French Revolution. So, 1800, the Septensular Republic was established. Never heard of them. 1809, Napoleon I and French forces defeated Austria at the Battle of Ravensburg in Bavaria on the second day of a 4-day campaign that ended in a French victory because Napoleon. Yeah. So, we also have the governors of Caracas in 1810 declared the national sovereignty from Spain. Okay. 1818, Napoleon Bonaparte bid emotional farewell to his old guard at the Palace of Fontainebleau. Not sure if this is the first or second time he was exiled. It's so weird to say. Only Napoleon could come back from being exiled. I don't think anybody else has. Maybe somebody else, but that club is a very small club. 1828, Frenchman René Callier was the first non-Muslim to enter Timbuktu and returned to win a 10,000 franc prize from the Société Géographique. And what primary source doesn't say, from the secondary source, he would also be the first to return alive. You know, and that should tell everybody everything they need to know about, Muslim countries and everything. They killed non-Muslims on sight, you know, back in those times. And they would today if they were able to. 1836, territory of Wisconsin was created by the U.S. Congress passing an act. Creating it. Cool. 1861, during the American Civil War, Robert E. Lee resigned his commission in the United States Army in order to command the forces of his home state, Virginia. We covered that yesterday a little bit. It wasn't, and once again, if in case anybody's watching this that they didn't see me say this yesterday, Robert E. Lee, I do not believe, supported the Confederacy as far as their politicals, and especially, Robert E. Lee had slaves and everything, so I can't really say he was against slavery. But I don't believe he was a bad guy. But he was a neutral guy. But the reason why he fought for the Confederacy was he was fighting for his home state, which so happened to have joined the Confederacy. So that's why. In 1862, first pasteurization was completed by Frenchmen Louis Pasteur and Claude Bernard. Okay. And I forgot to mention this one here, but 1 year prior, 1861, Thaddeus S.T. Lowe, attempting to display the value of balloons, made a record journey flying 900 miles from Cincinnati to South Carolina. Look at that, just a basic hot air balloon.
Yeah.
So trying to demonstrate the value of these things. That's cool. And look at all the equipment. Has to be horse-drawn carriages at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 1860s. There are no vehicles. What else do we got here? 1862, we got that. That was a pasteurization thing. It's telling me to image search this, so I'm going to do that really quick.
Pasteurization?
Yeah. Like, every now and then, I find images that have text on it. Like, here. The process was named after its creator, Louis Pasteur. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The first pasteurization test was completed by Pasteur and Claude Bernard on April 20th, 1862. Yeah, that's today. Back then it was today. 1865, Crosby Opera House opened in Chicago, Illinois, only to be destroyed by the Great Fire of Chicago 6 years later in 1871. And that might also coincide with the mud flood theory. 1865, astronomer Angelo Secchi demonstrated the Secchi disk, which measures water clarity, aboard Pope Pius IX's yacht, the L'Immaculata Conception. I'm going to image search it, but this is basically
water clarity.
Well, see, you have a disc, and you have black and white.
Okay.
So you have like a base, and then white pure, and then you can gauge like how clear the water looks by basing it off of those two colors.
Okay.
The dirtier the water, the white is going to look less white, and then you can judge the white by the black.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. Like,
I have a hard time grasping it, but I'll go for it.
Well, let's see here. Measured to water transparency or turbidity in bodies of water. The disc is mounted on a pole or line and lowered slowly down in the water. The depth at which the disc is no longer visible is
okay. Now that makes sense. Okay.
Is taken as a measure of the transparency of the water.
Okay.
This measure is known as the Secchi depth. It is related to water turbidity, which is of course like turbulence and all that stuff. Let's see here. If anyone wants to read more, there it is. Secchi disc. If anyone wants to read more about this?
Turbidity. That's a word that I haven't heard before.
Yeah, but I understand it.
Yeah.
These links, any link that we discover during the show will be in the underbar, the description below, after the live stream, of course. Moving on up, what else we got here? 1871, U.S. Third Enforcement Act confirmed the ability of President to suspend writ of habeas corpus. And I remember Lincoln did that during the Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War.
5 years later, 1876, the April Uprising began. Its suppression shocked European opinion, and Bulgarian independence became a condition for ending the Russo-Turkish War. That's substantial. 3 years later, we have the first mobile home. That there is an RV, Clark. Horse-drawn, of course, used in a journey from London to Cyprus, 1879. Why am I in the 1890s? It's difficult to keep two
Yeah.
things balanced. But I actually have a picture of this. Look at that.
Oh, gee.
First mobile home. It's basically
Wow.
just a fancy covered wagon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Huh.
Now don't go falling in love with it. I'm going to be taking it with me when we leave here next month. No, the bone was we don't have any sauce at the
Don't
beginning.
have any what?
Who brought the saw?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But didn't he do it then too?
No, it was only that.
Just that one time?
Just that one time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. The RV part was he spat out his eggnog or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I know this movie too well.
Apparently.
1884, Pope Leo XIII published the encyclical on Freemasonry, the encyclical Humanium Genus, condemning Freemasonry. Well, of course, the papacy. Well, Freemasonry, as far as my knowledge is believed, they came out of the Knights, the Templar.
Yes, I believe so. The
The
Knights
Knight-
Templar.
Yeah, and by the end of the Crusades, because the Knights Templar, worked as mercenaries essentially for the Vatican and everything. The Vatican owed them so much money that they instead just branded them as heretics and dislawed their
off.
order. No, they killed them. Like,
Or ran them off, the
well,
ones that survived.
yeah, they basically Order 66 them, if you know what that is.
Mhm.
You do?
Yeah. You're going to kill them.
Yeah. Well, no, that's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like that's when Palpatine, who is the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic, he did Order 66, and that was to kill all the Jedi and everything for his final, stroke for power and all that stuff. Anyway, what else we got here? 1887, Georges Boutin won the world's first motor race on a steam-powered quadricycle, a test organized by French newspaper Le Velocipede.
Motorcycle.
Yeah. So this is it. There's two wheels here, quadricycle. So it's a motor, because they had a motorcycle by then. I think motorcycles were invented before the automobile, although it was, I'm not sure.
1887, I'm not sure.
1887? Oh, hold on a second. When were motorcycles invented? The 19th century. It's 1860s. Yeah.
Okay.
He founded Monsieur et Cie, the first company to construct bicycles with pedals called a velocipede at the time, or Michelin. The first steam-powered motorcycle can be traced to 1867. Let's see here.
This is 1887.
Yeah, so this is shortly before. Well, look at that. They have a big wheel with a little motor thing on it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So there you go. So that's why it's called a
Step
quadricycle, because it's not a bicycle, two.
4, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
4.
why I was surprised. Quadricycle.
Yeah. Eventually they came out with automobile. So it told me to image search this. Oh yeah, just to show you other angles of it if you wanted to see and everything. What else do we got here? 1894, 136,000 mine workers striked in Ohio for a pay increase. I wonder how long, though, they striked. 1898, U.S. President William McKinley signed a joint resolution in Congress for declaration of war against Spain, beginning the Spanish-American War. A lot of people don't even realize that the Spanish-American War happened. And something occurred that was very similar. Well, I guess the Gulf of Tonkin would be similar to this, whatever it was. But it was a very Gulf of Tonkin-esque thing. Like, something happened involving one of our ships, and we blamed Spain because it was in Havana Harbor or something, and Spain owned Cuba at the time. So then we declared war against Spain using that, and a lot of people believe that it was a false flag committed by our own government to push going to war with Spain. Like there's been a lot of the Gulf.
The first time.
Yeah. Like the Gulf of Tonkin, I believe, was made declassified by a Freedom of Information, a FOIA Act request to fully disclose all the documentation, and they straight up said that the Gulf of Tonkin was a lie and that we did it to validate us going to war against North Vietnam because communism. So
the domino theory.
Yeah, the communist button. So. 1899, David Beatty was appointed executive officer of the HMS Barnafur, a small battleship and flagship of the China Station. He would later become like, you know, David Beardy, the guy with he wears his hat, you know, all weird. Oh. I'll look up an image of him really quick just to show you. You'll recognize him, like, because we talk about him like quite often. This guy, like, you know, he always wore his admiral hat, like cockeyed or something. That was his style. 1902, Marie and Pierre Curie isolated the radioactive compound radium chloride.
Is that Madame Curie?
Madame Curie, yes. They would later die of radiation exposure. So,
no kidding.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know about it back then. 1904, Louisiana Purchase Exposition opened in St. Louis. All right. 1910, Halley's Comet passed the 29th recorded perihelion at 87.9 million kilometers from the sun. That's the perihelion. Well, the 29th time that we've had it on record that it's it's obviously gone by, you know, a lot more, but records only go so far. 1912, Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts officially opened. Red Sox defeated the visiting New York Highlanders 7-6 in 11 innings. All right. I'm not having a stroke. They did misspell it. Visitabig.
What?
Visitabig. There's a B instead of an N there.
Oh.
Visitabig. So, 1914, Ludlow Massacre, Colorado Fuel and Iron, CF&I, security team and Colorado National Guard soldiers killed 21 workers, women, and children during mine strike in Ludlow, Colorado. Wow. Like, people deserve rights. And, you know, like, as soon as you kill somebody, you've lost the fight. You know, you've invalidated everything that you stood for. You know, so I hope all the families of these people who were murdered, you know, got their due compensation and everything. This happened during the Colorado Coalfield War. There's a straight up, like, they call it a war. The tensions were so high. 1914 as well, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, having dispatched more naval ships to Mexico, asked a joint session of Congress to approve the armed force if necessary, to which Congress did indeed approve. Yikes, Woodrow Wilson, what a piece of shit. 1915, Ottoman soldiers laid siege to the Armenian city of Van during World War I. Now, the other source says the Armenians rose and seized the Turkish town of Van, which they held until Russians relieved them on May 19th. Thousands of Armenians were killed. So it sounds like we have the same. Yeah, you know, it sounds like two different viewpoints, almost. 16, Chicago Cubs paid their Cubs, not the clubs. They're not a deck of cards, you know, thing. Played their first game at Wigman Park, now known as Wrigley Field, and defeated the Cincinnati Reds 7-6. So it used to be called Wigman Park. 1916. This is a weird word there. 1908. Go ahead.
No, well, Wrigley is the guy's name. I wonder why it wasn't originally that.
Well, didn't Wrigley chewing gum buy it?
Yes.
So well, I guess this is what it was called
before he bought it.
Before he bought it.
So he wasn't the original owner then.
Well,
I have no idea.
I don't either. So, 1918, Manfred von Richthofen. Does that name sound familiar?
No.
The Red Baron.
Ah, okay.
He shot down his 79th and 80th victims, marking his final victories before his death the following day.
No.
Yeah, so he dies tomorrow. Yikes. 1920, Big Show ended a 2-year run on NBC Radio. The wrestler?
Really big show.
The wrestler?
I've never heard of a wrestler Big Show.
I thought I thought there was a wrestler named Big Show.
Could be.
Let's see here.
I'm not that up on wrestling.
Wrestler
Never
Big
heard of that.
Show. Yeah, it's that guy. Big Show. Paul Donald White II.
Okay.
So, okay. I mean, it's just a stupid joke. Like, you know, wow, he's old. Like, you know, 1920, he ended a 2-year. Like, 1920, he's already old enough to be on NBC. Like, for 2 years. Holy crap! Is he like 150? We also have Phillies manager Gravy Karavath put himself in as a pinch hitter. Hit 3 home runs. Hit a 3-run homer, defeating New York Giants 3-0. Wow. So he put himself in and basically carried the game.
Yeah.
Like, wow, what a G. 1920 as well, tornadoes killed 219 people in Alabama and Mississippi. Yep. Now, I have this in here. I'm not sure exactly why, but 1920, Balfour Declaration was recognized, makes Palestine a British mandate. So this was one of the steps, so that way they can, you know, get what they wanted, which inevitably was Israel. Now, I'm not sure exactly what it has to do with April 20th, because I looked it up, and the Balfour Declaration, it was first proposed on a massively different date, but maybe it was recognized on the 20th. Oh, here we go, 1920. So I think it was recognized right here, but the actual for mandatory Palestine. So, but the Balfour Declaration was around 3 years prior, talking about a Jewish homeland in Palestine. So, like, whenever people go around and say, "Oh, Israel is a result of the Holocaust," no, it is not. Absolutely not. It was used to push it, absolutely, but it is nothing. Declaration. It was nothing to do with that. Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, which was then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. And I know I've said this recently, but just, to refresh anybody or anyone who's new to watching this, the existence of Israel makes Adolf Hitler win, because he didn't want to kill all the Jews. He didn't want to do the Holocaust. He wanted to send them all to, like, Madagascar or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to make an Israel, just not in Palestine, somewhere else.
Right.
So, know your history out there, know the truth. I might be right, I might be wrong, but go out there and figure it out yourself. Don't rely on other people to make up your mind out there.
Even though the Holocaust wasn't the primary reason, they just had a lot of displaced Jews after World War II.
Well, me personally, I think that the Holocaust was orchestrated to push Israel into existence, because it sounds crazy, but the way things played out, I don't know. 1 century ago, 1926, the first check sent by radio facsimile, or fax, fax machine, transmission across the Atlantic. So the first fax, or at least a paycheck. So on this calendar date. Yeah. 1926, 100 years ago. 1931, British House of Commons agreed for sports play on Sunday. Okay. 34, Heinrich Himmler was appointed chief of all German police, including the Prussian secret state police. Yikes. 1936, Jews repelled an Arab attack in Peshittevek, Palestine. So right there, we've been talking about this actually for the past couple of days. In 1934 to 1936, there, a large number, of Jews were moving into Palestine, what would eventually become Israel, years before the creation of Israel.
Well, they were already there even before that.
Yeah, but this,
yeah, they were coming in numbers.
So it's starting to sound like an invasion. I don't know how else to describe it. So, 39, Ted Williams' first MLB hit came off New York Yankees fellow future Hall of Famer Red Ruffing in Boston's 2-0 opening day defeat at Yankee Stadium in New York City. 1 year later, 1940, we have the first electron microscope demonstrated at RCA, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's huge. That is pretty big. 41, Dodgers start to wear liners in their caps.
Oh.
Yeah. 42.
And they have bounty helmets.
Yeah. 42, Nazi Germany occupiers forbade Dutch access to their beach. Man, that sucks, because they can't go and surf. That's not nice. But then again, they're Nazis, so. 43, Braves manager Casey Stengel was struck by a taxi. It fractures his leg.
Casey Stengel.
Okay. I wonder if they gave him a free ride to the hospital. I mean, seriously, if a taxi driver hits somebody, and if they're not critically injured, can they take them to the hospital? Is that possible? Is that a thing? Is that company policy?
I don't know. And keep charging him, you mean?
No.
Oh.
No.
Charge him for the ride?
Well, that might be cheaper than an ambulance, actually, now that I think about it. So,
True.
Fuck it, why not? 44, Dutch Communist Party resistance fighter John Postma was sentenced to death. Good communist. 44 as well, NFL legalized coaching from the bench. Okay. 45, Cleveland Browns organization was formed by Arthur Mickey McBride. So, what is that, the team, or is it just a...
Cleveland Browns?
The Cleveland Browns organization.
Yeah, it's a football team.
Okay, so this is what the actual football team, or is this the business around it?
You're going to have to read it again.
Cleveland Browns organization formed by Arthur Mickey McBride. Like,
Well, it sounds like the football team was organized.
why are we getting so much godlight in the camera? Okay. For a minute there, it was just glowing.
Oh, I didn't see the glowing.
Yeah.
I saw it going a little bit up
Yeah.
and down, light and dark.
Huh. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1945, Nazi German occupiers flood Beemister and Fencer. Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, they're flooding it, like, so that way they can't get invaded or whatever. Beemster and Fencer, I guess, are like areas. I'm not sure. We also have Soviet artillery began shelling Berlin. So yeah, if you flood the landscape, it's harder for tanks and vehicles, to come in. Yeah, so 45 as well. U.S. 7th Army captured German city of Nuremberg. All right. 45 as well during World War II, U.S. troops captured Leipzig, Germany, only to later cede the city to the Soviet Union. We also have 20 Jewish children were used in medical experiments at Niringami. They were killed in the basement of the Bollenhester Dam School. That's horrifying.
It was a big day in 1945.
Yeah, it is. We have another one. In the Führer bunker on his 56th birthday, Adolf Hitler made his last trip to the surface to award Iron Crosses to boy soldiers of the Hitler Youth. Yeah.
That's what it came down to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's this one scene in Fury. Boy soldiers. Actually, there's several scenes in Fury where they ended up finding boy soldiers. Fury. Why am I getting Furry? No, I want Fury movie. No. There's. I'm not finding. I was hoping to find. Trying to find a screenshot of the actual movie, but there's several scenes in that movie because Fury is about a Sherman tank crew during World War II, and they're in. Of course, they're in Europe and everything, but there's several scenes where they have firefights with German soldiers, and they find out that they're children. The first time they had to mow them down because they were shooting them with bazookas. So what are you gonna do? Sit there and not kill a kid because it's a kid while it kills you?
Kill you.
Yeah.
You gotta kill him.
Horrifying.
Or you're still gonna feel bad when you're all said and done.
War's hell.
Over, it's a 10-year-old kid.
War is hell, man.
Yeah.
Loons time, 1946. First baseball broadcast in Chicago. Cardinals versus Cubs. 46 as well. League of Nations officially dissolved, giving most of its power to the United Nations. 48. Walter P. Reuther, UAW president, was shot and wounded at his home in Detroit. What's UAW?
United Auto Workers.
Oh, wow. Oh, so this must have been some kind of union dispute or something.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. 49, jockey Bill Schumacher won his first race in Albany, California. Hey, out here.
Schumacher, great.
Yeah.
Great jockey.
We also have the Amethyst incident occurred in which the People's Liberation Army attacked HM Amethyst, the F-116, traveling to the British Embassy in Nanjing during the Chinese Civil War. It was telling me to look this up here really quick. So the Amethyst incidents. I'm just going to add that link in the underbar if anybody wants to look that up a little bit more. Why am I getting the Battle of Okinawa? That's 45. This is 49. You don't even have the date right here, Ecosia. Come on, what the hell? Well, tells me, the warship. Okay, so this was a warship that they attacked. Okay, that makes things a lot more interesting. 51, huge ticker tape parade was held in New York City for World War II and Korean War General Douglas MacArthur after he was relieved of command by President Truman. Because he was saying that we need to nuke China, before they spread their commie madness all over the place. And
maybe they were right. Maybe he is right.
Well, I can.
Not that I'm glad we didn't nuke anybody else.
Well, now look at the state of the world, though. So I don't know. 51. Velson City Council demanded investigation of police collaborators for what? What are they collaborating? For what? I'd like to know more. 1958. Morocco demanded departure of Spanish troops. So get Spain out of Morocco. Morocco used to be a Spanish colony, I believe. Spanish Morocco. So. 61, American Herald, or Stadium Herald Graham made first rocket belt flight. I have to look this up. Rocket belt. Like, is it literally a belt made of rockets? Like something out of Looney Tunes? Bell rocket belts. Okay, so it's a jetpack.
Yeah, jetpack.
That thing. Okay. All right, so this is when he made his first fly in one of those. That's cool. 61, during the Cold War, failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion of U.S.-backed Cuban exiles against Cuba occurred. We covered that yesterday.
Yeah.
So, 62, NASA civilian pilot Neil Armstrong took the X-15 to 63,250 meters, experimental aircraft, to trying to break the sound barrier, or trying to break the altitude barrier, something. And we, of course, know Neil Armstrong would be the first person to...
I think the X-15, if I'm not mistaken, did break the
sound barrier.
Well, sound barrier for
Yeah.
sure. But
Well, what was its entire purpose anyway? Like,
I think it was developing a spy plane really high.
okay. Oh, so it was like the predecessor to the SR-71, which makes sense because the Blackbird, I think, came out in '72 or something. Well, actually, this XR-71 is '72. When did the '71? Hold on a second. When did the XR-71 start? I guess SR, not XR. Mach 3 plus. Oh, no, it was developed in the '60s as a black project. Okay, so maybe you're right with what you're saying. Like, they're figuring things out, and then they make a better craft to for
all around the same time.
Yeah. 64, 86% of black students boycotted Cleveland schools. Why? Like, why? Like some kind of segregation thing happening? Like Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio. Is not.
Yeah. I wouldn't. This
It's
is
not the South.
Yeah, but it is the civil rights time. So.
Yeah.
65, the People's Republic of China offered North Vietnam military aid. 67, New York Met pitcher Tom Seaver won his first game, helped defeating the Cubs. The Cubs. Why can't they call them the Cubs? 6-1. 68, British politician Enoch Powell made his controversial Rivers of Blood speech. 1960, I'm trying to, here it is. What is that? So, Rivers of Blood speech. And did I even add that link in the underbar? I did not. What was I going to add into the underbar earlier?
Oh boy.
Whatever. I screwed up. Oh well. It was made by British politician Powell. Okay. Strongly criticized the rate of immigration from the Commonwealth. Let's see here. Okay, so in it, Powell, who was then Shadow Secretary of State for Defense in the Shadow Cabinet, I don't like all this shadow stuff, strongly criticized the rates of immigration from the Commonwealth of Nations, mostly former colonies of the British Empire, to the United Kingdom since the Second World War. He also opposed the Race Relations Bill, an anti-discrimination bill which, upon receiving royal assent as the Race Relations Act of '68, criminalized the refusal of housing, employment, or public services to persons on the ground of color, race, or ethnic or national origin. Powell himself called it the Birmingham speech. Rivers of Blood alludes to a prophecy from Virgil's Aeneid that Powell, a classical scholar, quoted. As I look ahead, I am filled with foreboding. Like the Roman, I seem to see the river Tiber foaming with much blood. Wow. That's some crazy stuff right there. So,
Yeah.
River of Blood speech. I'm going to add this in the underbar section there so other people can expand their intellectual horizons. 1968, British rock band billed as Roundabout debuted in Kastrup, Denmark. After a brief tour of Scandinavia, they changed their name to Deep Purple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
I figured you'd know about them.
Yeah.
69, Al Pacino won a Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play for Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? Well, I know a squid does. So, Actually, he wears two. This is a clip-on. So, a child's clip-on, though, from when I was 7. I still have my childhood clip-on tie for whatever reason.
Never threw a tie away.
Nope. 1969, bombs planted by loyalist members of the Ulster Volunteer Force and the Ulster Protestant Volunteers exploded at Silent Valley Reservoir in County Down at an electricity pylon at Kilmore, County Armagh. More of the troubles. Bruno Kreisky in 1970 became the first socialist chancellor of Austria. Oh boy. And Barbra Streisand in 1971 recorded We've Only Just Begun to Sing.
You're not Barbra Streisand.
No, I'm not. 71, U.S. Supreme Court upheld the use of busing to achieve racial desegregation. So we spoke about that the other day. 72, NASA's Apollo 16's John Young and Charles Duke landed on the moon with Boeing Lunar Rover number 2. All right. Let's see here. It's not telling me who the third guy was. They always leave out the poor sap who's left in the module. Poor guy. 73, Canadian Anik A2 became the first commercial satellite in orbit. All right, so your people are the first ones to start putting crap up in the atmosphere that way. 73, mass murderer Ed Kemper attempted to dispose of his mother's vocal cords in a domestic waste disposal unit. What the hell?
Move on.
Wow. 74, the Troubles, the Northern Ireland conflict between Republican and Loyalist paramilitaries, British security forces, and civil rights groups claimed its 1,000th victim. 1,000 people have died because Britain can't just allow Ireland to be free. Needless. 77, Annie Hall, directed by Woody Allen, starring Woody Allen and Diane Keaton, was released later to receive the Academy Awards Best Picture of 1978.
She just died recently.
Oh. And this was what, 77? Annie, why is it not telling me anything about Annie Hall?
That's the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, starring... Wait. Oh, starring Woody Allen.
And...
okay.
And what's her face?
Diane Keaton.
She just died.
Diane Keaton, okay. I was looking for Annie Hall. Well, yeah, last year, October 11th, bacterial pneumonia at the age of 79. Rest in peace. 77, Al Pacino won a Tony Award for Best Actor in a Play for the basic training of Pablo Hummel. Did we just talk about Al Pacino? Or I guess not.
I don't think. Not today.
Okay, never mind then. 77, Supreme Court ruled live free or die may be covered in New Hampshire licenses. So we were talking about that phrase.
Well,
it was New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, like that's their state motto.
Okay.
Oh. 78, Korean Airlines Flight 902 veered off course into Soviet airspace and was fired upon by Soviet jet fighters, crash landing on the frozen Korepechev Lake. Yikes. Friggin' Ruskies were ruthless. 1980, climax of the Berber Spring in Algeria saw hundreds of Berber political activists arrested. And we have Cuban President Fidel Castro announced he is opening the Maro port for Cubans to leave. About 125,000 left for the next 5 to 6 months. Well, that's one way to spread communism. 80, Cubans began to arrive in U.S. From Mariel boat lift. So we spoke about that a day or so ago when they started the boat lift. It was a mass migration. They all they got on doors and you just jerry-rigged whatever something that they can float, and then ended up in Florida from Cuba. 81, the final performance of the TV show Soap aired. All right. 81 as well, rocker Papa John Phillips was arrested for drug possession. Which, by the way, happy 420 once again out there. So, 1982, Atlanta Braves became the first team to win the first 12 games of the season. That's impressive. The Provisional Irish Republican Army exploded. Ballymania, Bestbrook, and Magerfeld. 2 civilians were killed and 12 were injured. Mass terrorist bombings. Everything. Once again, because Britain won't let Ireland be free. 83, President Reagan signed a $165 billion bailout for Social Security. You shouldn't have disarmed yourself. 83 as well, Soyuz T-8 was launched, mission aborted when capsule failed to dock, landing 2 days later. 84, Renmark Rowing Club set a world record for a marathon rowed in 24 hours, covering 132 miles.
Jeez.
Dang. I want to go back here. Did you hear what I said about the Social Security bailout?
I heard the Social Security from Reagan. What was
$165 billion bailout.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I know we live off Social Security, but maybe if the world wasn't so fucked, we would have been able to invest our money in ways to make us richer.
Well,
so
it's not.
It's a way to make us dependent on the government.
No, Social Security, and shame on the government for spending the money instead of. They take Social Security that everybody pays into it for their retirement, and then they spend it wherever they want to spend it.
Yeah, no, that's intentional because they don't want us to have money. You see, if they didn't take that by law, then we would have that much more money left over for ourselves to do with what we want, like invest it into stocks or something, and we can actually make money off that. And if we're smart with it, like responsible adults, we'll end up with more money than Social Security could have ever given us. It's a giant scam.
And how many not so smart adults use it to feed everybody and live off it. Then you have no retirement.
Well,
So
sucks
it's a
for
good
them.
thing.
So, and I know who you're talking about, us. So, but
I'm not talking about us.
yeah, well, 1985 ATF raid on the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord, the CSA compound in northern Arkansas. We covered that yesterday. We also have University of California, Riverside, 1985 laboratory raid. Animal Liberation Front rescued 467 animals being tested in a lab at the University of California, Riverside, in Riverside, California, as if the name wasn't obvious enough, causing $700,000 in damages to the laboratory and advocacy for animal rights.
Wow.
I don't know where to see. As soon as you start causing damages, you avoided your rights. But then again, the way the system has made everything set up, it's impossible to do anything without having to be violent. So, 1986, Michael Jordan set NBA playoff record with 63 points in a game. Is that still the record? Even if it's not, it's a hell of a record there.
Wilt Chamberlain scored 100.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's one of the greats too, Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 86, Vladimir Horowitz performed in Moscow, Russia, his first appearance in his Russian homeland since 1925.
Whoa.
Yeah. So must have fled communism early on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it might have been banished, actually. Because back in those times, the unless you're a Trotsky or, well, actually, Stalin.
They didn't ban you, they put you in jail.
Well, no, they banned Lenin. They banished Lenin, and then he came back. Well, he was the leader of the communists and everything, but then he ended up banishing Trotsky, and then Stalin ended up killing Trotsky. So I think Trotsky was exiled initially.
To Mexico.
Yes. Well, he was just exiled, and he went to Mexico.
Yeah.
So, when you get exiled, it's basically like getting kicked out of a bar. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yeah. You know. 87 AO's time.
Hey.
Sri Lankan Civil War. Tamil shot 122 Sinhalese dead. That's a horrible thing to happen in my birth year.
Yeah.
We also have U.S. deported Carl Linnaeus to USSR, charged with Nazi war crimes. We have the 91st Boston Marathon. Toshihiko Seko of Japan won second title in 2 hours, 11 minutes, 50 seconds. Rosa Moda of Portugal claimed women's event in 2 hours, 25 minutes, 21 seconds. Her first of 3 race victories. All right.
Yeah.
So on our way to 3. Or I guess 2. 87, we got that one. We got that one. 88. Baltimore Orioles set worst record to start a season, 0-14. Will go to 0-21. Oh! Man, dude,
So every loss after that one was a new record.
I don't even suck that bad. That's horrible.
Yeah.
New Jersey Devils' first playoff hat trick, Eric Broughton.
Yeah.
So, he did the first hat trick for the New Jersey Devils history. So, yeah. 88, U.S. accused, which, by the way, do you remember where hat tricks come from?
I forgot.
You probably forgot intentionally. Where did hat tricks come from? Now, before I hit enter, tell us what a hat trick is, so that way you can prove that you know what it is.
Yeah, you score 3 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know why it's called a hat trick and all that stuff?
I can't remember.
Because you get a hat. You score 3 goals, they give you a hat. It's you do a trick.
No.
You like a reward, like a prize.
Okay.
Okay. Hat trick. Is achievement of a generally positive feat 3 times in the match. Hold on a second. Wikipedia. The term was first used in 1858 in cricket.
No.
To describe H.A. Stevenson taking 3 wickets
again.
with 3 consecutive deliveries. Fans held a collection for Stevenson and presented him with a hat brought with the proceeds. The term appeared in a print for the first time in 1865 in the Chelmsford Chronicle. Hat trick was eventually adopted by many other sports, including hockey, association football, Formula One racing. That's weird. Rugby, water polo, and competitive video games such as Counter-Strike. You can do a hat trick in Counter-Strike? Okay.
I don't know what Counter-Strike is.
It's a video game.
Okay.
So CSGO, CS Source, CS.
Why are you doing it in football?
I don't know. So, but
3 touchdowns.
So, but I just wanted to prove to you, just so that way you know how full of shit you are, is that you have a term that derived from something you hate, just being completely ignorant about it. Just I always knew you were a cricket fan at heart. What else do we got here? 1988, U.S. accused Renamo of killing 100,000 Mozambicans. Yeah. Yanks home run 9,999 from D. Winfield, 10,000 C. Washington, and 10,001 from James Clark. Or Jay Clark, whoever Jay Clark is. They're right there. 1989, Iran-Contra affair. Case against former White House aide Oliver North went on to the jury. 1990, 8 2/3 inning perfect game pitch by Brian Hopman of Oakland A's was spoiled by a home run hit by Ken Phillips.
Man.
That's a heartbreak
You need
right there.
one more out.
One more.
Yeah.
Former MLB baseball player and manager Pete Rose pled guilty to hiding $300,000 in income. Not good.
Probably from gambling.
Yeah. The first nonstop flight in 1991 from Schiphol to Flamingo Airport, Bonaire in the Caribbean. All right, I don't know where either of those are, but yeah, that sounds pretty cool. We also have Mark Lindsay was the first driver to score 100 points on the drive, scoring 101.85 in a single drive. Okay. 1992, Expo 92 opens in Seville, Spain. 92 as well. Madonna signed a $60 million deal with Time Warner. I wonder why. What's she doing with them? All-Star benefit concert in memory of Freddie Mercury was held at Wembley Stadium in London. Performers included Queen, Roger Daltrey, Robert Plant, Zucchero, Paul Young, Seal, David Bowie, Annie Lennox, Mick Ronson, George Michael, Elton John, Axl Rose, and Liza Minnelli. That's a lot of names right there.
That is quite the lineup.
93, Mercury National Records released Shania Twain, the debut album of Shania Twain. 93, Uranus passed Neptune. This happens once every 171 years. So, like, when their orbits eventually, they pass. Yeah. And then they.
So we got a ways to go to the next one.
Yes. 94 as well. Danny Harold Rolling was sentenced to death in Florida for killing 5. That would do it. Pakistani cricket batsman Sohail Islam made world record ODI partnership of 263 against New Zealand and Sharjah. And don't mind the pounding. That's just a loon trying to, get the cricket out of his head. So, I guess that would have been my hat trick today. Serbian army bombed a hospital in Gordens, Bosnia, killing 47 people. That's not good. 96, Chicago Bulls won record 72 games in a season. That's a hell of a season right there. Yeah. We have the 27th Easter Seal Telethon, 1997, raised $47,392,682. The Cubs defeated the New York Mets, ending the National League's worst opening losing streak of 14 straight games. Wow, what's with people and sucking today? First baseball game in Hawaii, Cardinals defeated the Padres in doubleheader. Okay. Mark McGwire was the fourth to home run on Detroit Tiger left field roof. Others were Frank Howard, Harmon Killebrew, and Cecil Fielder, if that's the order in which they operated.
No, I think that's the newest to the oldest. Frank Howard was the last one. Harlan Killebrew.
So descending order
for him, and then whoever that other guy is, probably the first one.
Or ascending order, I guess.
That's the dates. Oldest to the newest.
So you just said newest to the oldest.
Newest to the oldest.
Yeah. Now, was this before or after they figured out Mark McGwire was choosing? Because his arms because his arms were as big as a fucking truck. Yeah. 97, PGA Seniors Championship Men's Golf, PGA National Golf Course, defending champion Hale Irwin won his second of 3 straight senior PGA championships by streeting runners-up Dale Douglas and Jack Nicklaus by 12 strokes. We have 98 German's terrorist group Red Army faction, also known as the Baader Meinhof group, disbanded after 28 years. And I still wonder if they are the inspiration for the Red Ribbon Army from the Dragon Ball IP. 99 Columbine High School Massacre. Eric Harris and Dylan Calibold killed 13 people and injured 24 others before committing self-deletion at Columbine High School in Columbine, Colorado. Other source says 14 deaths and 23rd injured. So... whatever the case, Columbine, and we covered Virginia Tech a couple days ago. Yeah. So, that's pretty wild. Now, Virginia Tech was what, in 2003 or something?
I don't remember.
Or, I think there was even, another one. There's been several. But Columbine and Virginia... Well, yeah, it's a bunch.
Texas and,
what was the one in Texas? I forgot what that one was called. But then, of course, there's Sandy Hook. Yeah. That one's big. Yeah. But, yeah, the one in Texas where the police just sat back and did nothing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stupid. 2004, 12 mortar rounds were fired on Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq by insurgents, killing 22 detainees and wounding 92. I remember that. We also have the Nickel Highway in Singapore collapsed, killing 4 workers. 3 years later, a man with a handgun barricaded himself in NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, before killing a male hostage and then himself.
Good grief.
Jeez.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, William Phillips. That was the guy.
Yeah.
2008, Danica Patrick, driving for Andretti Green Racing, won the Indy Japan 300 at Twin Ring Motegi, first female driver in history to win an Indy Series race. Yeah. Congratulations, Miss Patrick. Excellent. 2010, the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig exploded, killing 11 and causing the rig to sink, causing a massive disaster in the Gulf of Mexico, now known as the Gulf of America, and an environmental disaster. So, and it was such a big problem because it was so deep. Yeah. We didn't have the technology to cap it, so it just seeped. Yeah. You know? But yeah, that is a phenomenal photograph. Just and those are oil tankers that are spewing water. And that's almost a quarter mile. How do they have jets that strong to shoot water that far? That's crazy. Yeah. What else do we got here? 2013, 193 people were killed and 11,826 were injured after a magnitude 7.0 earthquake struck Lushan County, China. Yikes. Yep. 2015, 10 people were killed in a bomb attack on a convoy carrying food supplies to the United Nations compound in Garowe in the Somali region of Puntland. 2018, actress Allison Mack was arrested on charges of sex trafficking in relation to sex cult NXIVM in New York. Yikes. And a lot of these Hollywood elitists and high political figures, like anybody who's anybody, is in some way affiliated to Epstein. It's wild. There's all one unifying.
Why did he get Epstein in it with her?
Because he did child sex trafficking.
Doesn't mean she had anything to do with it.
But she was sex trafficking. That's I'm not saying she did. I said a lot of celebrities and elitists and anybody who's anybody is somehow associated with. I never once said her specifically. I'm using this situation as an example to be like, it's across the board. It's endemic. Yeah. So, 2018, Arsene Wenger announced he will leave London EPL club Arsenal after 22 years as manager. That's a long time. Commonwealth countries decided Prince Charles will succeed Queen Elizabeth as the next head of the Commonwealth, in which he did. 2018 as well, a Mexican court barred the sale of controversial Frida Kahlo Barbie doll. Frida, I gotta look this up. So,
why would they?
It's probably something horrible. Like, let's see this. I guess they went with cultural appropriation because Barbie is white and they don't want something of white culture showing a, like... Or actually, no, I think Frida Kahlo was an actual person. A Hispanic person?
I have no idea.
Because there's a picture on the box of an actual person.
Oh, okay.
So I think this doll is modeled after her.
Oh, okay.
There's a Barbie doll made...
So why would they ban it?
Because wokeism is 2018. So, 2020, price of U.S. oil turned negative for the first time in history. West Texas Intermediate, the benchmark of U.S. oil, fell as low as minus $37.63 a barrel as worldwide demand fell. $37.63 negative.
Yeah.
So they had to pay you almost $38 to take the damn stuff. Yeah. Holy shit.
It was very short-lived, but yeah, it was a glut thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
2020, the last 3 cruise ships still afloat amid the Kung Flu pandemic finally docked at the ports of Marseille, France, Barcelona, Spain, and Los Angeles, California. Now, do you remember how all the cruise ships handled all of this COVID stuff during that time? Because I've told you a couple times before. I'm just wondering if you remember it.
I do not.
Okay, so you know that all these cruise ships, they hire in second and third world countries because tax brackets and all that stuff. So they have people all over the world. Well, what do you do if, one ship has people from all over the world? Are you going to send every ship everywhere? You want me to tell you what they did?
What they do?
They got all of their ships and conglomerated in one area, and then put like all the Puerto Ricans on one ship and all the Guatemalans here and all of these guys there and then they went off to their respective ports, or
to an area where they can then fly to wherever they're going to go.
Ah.
So, we just covered the last 3 ships.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. So, so we're in Barcelona, Spain, Marseille, France, and LA, California. Whoever else was on the ship, not all of them were from those areas. They then trickled into wherever else they went to from there. But that was genius, 2020 as well, the 3 U.S. states, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina, were the first to announce end to some of the Kung Flu restrictions. All right, my home state, good old Tennessee. 2020, A.O. Xander consumed a 1,000 milligram marijuana brownie, and that's a picture of it. So 6 years ago today, I had that. I consumed that. It took me about 3 hours, and it tasted like dirt because it was full of so much cannabis. Like all you could taste was the weed. You couldn't even taste the chocolate.
Be terrible.
Oh, I got so cripplingly stoned that you thought I was dying. Legitimately,
Yeah,
you
wanted
wanted
me
me
to the hospital.
Yeah, no, I don't need the hospital. I'm just cripplingly stoned, and that knocked me on my ass for like 72 or more hours. I wanted to work the next day. It didn't happen. What else do we got here? 2021, all 6 EPL clubs withdrew from the controversial European Super League just 3 days after it was announced. Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Tottenham. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back for a second. Because of state law, you can't get anything over 100, so I'm still celebrating only at 10% capacity here. Later on today after the show. Could you imagine if I had that before the show? Like, today in history, wouldn't get through it in 3 hours. Remember that time that Carrera was on?
Oh.
That one show that was 3 some odd hours long,
yeah.
and I had someone who just did cocaine on one side and someone who just did alcohol on the other.
Yeah.
So I had here, and then I had over there. And meanwhile, me and my stoner ass trying to keep everything together. That was a never again. 2021, former police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis in a case that prompted huge nationwide racial justice protests. The other source says, State of Minnesota versus Derek Michael Chauvin. Derek Chauvin was found guilty of all charges in the murder of George Floyd by the 4th Judicial District Court of Minnesota. Despite Floyd having beyond lethal amounts of various drugs in his system, including fentanyl, look at the toxicology report. Atop that, Floyd was a known criminal. He had tried to use a fake $20 bill, and that's why why Chauvin was even there. He was responding to that call when he tried to use a counterfeit 20 at a convenience store. Okay. Atop that, Derek Chauvin was not kneeling on his neck. The photograph was proven to be intentionally misleading due to the angle it was taken. Other evidence showcases the knee was on the back as per standard police procedure. And let's not forget, Saint Fentanyl, George Floyd here, put a gun to the belly of a pregnant woman. Okay. All right? Karma's a bitch, and it certainly came for him. So, Derek Chauvin just got screwed. So, 2021, president of Chad for 3 decades, Idris Deby, was killed in a battlefield fighting rebels near the capital, N'Djamena. So, what I was going to call him a Chad. He's the president of Chad. He is the Chad. He's fighting alongside his people against, he even overthrew the regime of Hassan Habarbe and replaced him as president of the country for more than 20 years. So he only has, So he only has 2 articles here. But I don't know. I'm not sure if he's a bad guy. It sounds like he was a real humanitarian. Because he overthrew a regime. Granted, he took power for 20 years, but then he died fighting. No dictator dies fighting. What an absolute legend, I believe. 2022, online streaming service Netflix suffered its first subscriber loss in a decade, losing 200,000 customers in January through March. Good. Let's not forget about Cuties. Do you remember what Cuties is?
No.
It's basically child horrible things. Like they have 8, 9, 12 girls, and there's scenes where they're naked. I have never seen the movie. I'm not going to see the movie. And for some reason, it's still on Netflix to this day. They call it cultural because it came out of France. But it is straight up CP.
I see. So
Straight
that's
up.
when the next fit ties in. They put the movie on.
Well, yeah, well, they host a movie.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is the result of that, but a lot of people have since
No, this
boycotted
was
Netflix.
actually, I remember that this was a result of them raising their prices.
Ah, yeah. And the whole point of even getting Netflix back in the day was because there was no ads, and now they still give you ads even if you're paying.
That's usually the way it works.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've never had a Netflix. I never will now.
Cable was
but-
supposed to be ad-free.
Yeah.
That was the pitch in the beginning.
Now that's the camel's nose. 2023, 136 people were massacred in the village of Karma, Burkina Faso, one of the country's worst attacks on civilians, blamed on the country's security forces. Yeah. 2023, SpaceX's Starship rocket, the most powerful ever made, with 33 booster engines. That's a little suspicious. With Freemasonry, then there's number 33. Launched an historic first test flight from Boca Chica, Tejas. Exploded 4 minutes into flight, with blame centering on Elon Musk's rush to launch on 420. So yeah, like, you know, there's a whole thing where they thought that he wanted to launch on 420 because, you know, Stoner Day, but maybe he might have been, celebrating Hitler's birthday. You know, I mean, SpaceX came out of NASA. NASA came out of the Nazis, Operation Paperclip. You know, so
Yeah, it's quite a stretch.
yeah, there's connections. 2023 total solar eclipse in Exeter, Western Australia, blocked out the sun for 58 seconds. And 2024, the U.S. House passed a bipartisan $95 billion foreign aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, and a bill against TikTok. Of course, Israel, snuck in there. If there's money to be passed around, they'll get theirs. 2024 as well, NASA engineers successfully repaired and recoded Voyager 1 from 15 billion miles away after a 5-month gap in not receiving data. This is why I find all this space shit, really crazy. We can do that, but we have, shit quality CCTVs. We can't find out who killed this guy, down the street. It's wild. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion. We went through all of this throughout this hour and 6 some odd minutes. So, this is from 2 sources. We only brought you about, 50-60% of that today? No, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I implore you, please, continue on your, journey of self-education and all that jazz. For your dose of passive events daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
And UVRU, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. And whenever you see us, wherever it is, till then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. And have a happy 420, everybody. I certainly am going to. So until later, toodles. All right. And here.